What is up, bros and broettes? I'm Slasher44, and today we are putting two weapons head to head to see which one is better. We like to call this series Versus, and it's here to make you a better Call of Duty player. We do this series on Mondays, and today we are looking at the Blunderbuss versus the CEL-3 Cauterizer. Two weapons that are DLC weapons that are new to the game and make for a really interesting comparison. So the first thing we are going to look at, as always, is the damage. So the damage is really interesting on this weapon because if we look at the Blunderbuss, we got 50 damage up close, 30 at mid-range, and 10 at long-range. And let me remind you, that is per pellet. With the CEL-3, you got 50 damage up close and 20 at long-range. So just by looking at this, it appears that the CEL-3 has a better damage profile. However, it's nowhere near that because the Blunderbuss puts out 18 pellets, whereas the CEL-3 only puts out 8. Yes, that's right, the Blunderbuss shoots 10 more pellets per shot than the CEL-3. So, because of that, we're going to give the Blunderbuss plus 10 points. It's a very strong weapon. Like, as far as power goes, it puts out the most punch in the entire game. Now, one more thing to state about the whole damage thing is that the Blunderbuss can shoot through objects. It has some sort of penetration, whereas the CEL-3 has none whatsoever because it's a laser gun, and all lasers in this game go through absolutely no surfaces. So, we already gave the Blunderbuss 10 points, and it's definitely for a good reason. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is the RPM, the rate of fire, and this one is a dead giveaway. The Blunderbuss has 11 RPM, whereas the CEL-3 has a really weird RPM, but 11 RPM. Horrible fire rate. It takes like 6 seconds to reload the Blunderbuss, whereas we have for the CEL-3, between the first and second bullet, it's 60 RPM, and the rest of the bullets, it's 120 RPM. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter about the variance between the bullets. The CEL-3 definitely has a better fire rate, and for that we're going to give the CEL-3 plus 10 points. Now, there's a couple other stats we can look at, one of them being aim down sights time, but it is the same for both weapons, 250 milliseconds. Another thing we can look at is recoil, but recoil actually doesn't matter when comparing these two weapons, because when you're shooting the Blunderbuss, you don't shoot a second bullet for another 6 seconds. So even though, yeah, the CEL-3 might have a better recoil pattern, it doesn't matter because you're not going to be shooting with the Blunderbuss anyway. So, again, that's another thing we can't really compare. But one thing we can compare is the amount of bullets in the chamber. So, like I said, the Blunderbuss, you shoot one bullet at the time. The CEL-3 actually has 16 bullets in the chamber and then has 32 bullets that you can just use at any time. So, a total of 3 full clips. And that's definitely a big positive thing because I don't really care about the one in the chamber thing for the Blunderbuss because pretty much for that one bullet you're going to kill one person. But the thing is you only get a total of 11 bullets, one in the chamber, then 10 that you can shoot. Whereas the CEL-3, you get 32 bullets, which is a lot, like a lot more than 10, obviously, and that's a lot more people you can kill. And because of that, when you're using the Blunderbuss, it feels like you need to use Scavenger if you're going to go on a long kill streak with this thing, whereas the CEL-3, you really don't need that. So for these a lot more bullets with the CEL-3, I'm going to give the CEL-3 plus 10 points. Now the next thing we're going to look at is hip spread. Now, by looking at the screen when using these two weapons side by side, it would appear that the CEL-3 has a lot better hip spread, but let me tell you, it doesn't, and here is why. Because the Blunderbuss has 18 pellets, if you're using the Dragonfire or the Royalty has 20 pellets, when you fire that weapon, there are so many pellets that it pretty much covers your entire screen, and when you're close enough to someone, if two of those pellets hit that person that cover your entire screen, it will kill them. So it doesn't matter what the hip spread is on the Blunderbuss because of the amount of pellets. So for that, we're going to give the Blunderbuss another plus 10 points. So we've reached a tie, and there's nothing else I can do to give out a better indication of points or anything like that. So I'm going to give you my opinion, and then I want to hear your opinion down in the comment section below. So as far as my opinion goes, I prefer the Blunderbuss, and here's why. When I shoot the Blunderbuss, I know that that bullet is going to kill someone. It packs a huge punch and does a ton of damage. Now the problem comes with it that once you kill that one person, you gotta run away and find somewhere to hide so you can have your 6 seconds to reload. Whereas the CEL-3 Cauterizer, yeah, it's more consistent with killing people, but the problem is when you fire that first bullet, oftentimes it doesn't kill people, and then the fire rate variance between first to second bullet and second to third bullet really throws me off, and because of that, I find myself not even being able to get that first kill in the first place, whereas when I'm using that blunderbuss, I know if I'm firing that weapon, I am getting at least that one kill, and that's why I choose the blunderbuss over the CEL-3 personally. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. What ones have you used more? What ones do you have? What one do you prefer? That's what I want to hear in the comment section below. Also, like the video if you enjoyed. Like I said, I think my favorite's the blunderbuss. It's the best I can give you this week. Unfortunately, there is no clear points winner like there normally is, but I tried my best. So like I said, if you enjoyed, go ahead and hit that like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. Check me out on Twitter and Twitch, link in the description to subscribe to join the Ink Army. And until next time, guys, peace out.